Hello and welcome to WashingtonExec's video series. I'm senior reporter Rachel Kirkland and I am joined today by Kyle Tuberson, who is ICF's Public Sector Chief Technology Officer. Thank you for joining me today, Kyle.
Thank you for having me, Rachel. I look forward to our discussion today.
Absolutely. So we're here to talk about the fact that ICF has recently released a new report with Wakefield Research in which 500 federal employees were surveyed just to get a pulse on sentiment around agencies' digital transformation efforts. So when we look at the survey findings, we see a significant majority of federal employees say their digital initiatives are behind, and federal employees who work in technology roles are saying that their agency lacks a clear vision for digital transformation. So how can agencies turn that around and establish a clear vision that brings results?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's one that we think about and I think about all the time. The way I'd answer is I think a lot of times with transformation, sometimes when they get off track or don't deliver the value that they're intended to, often you can point to that maybe it's gotten too big. And internally, we call this making the T in transformation too big. And if it's an agile transformation, making the A too big. So it's really, transformation is a journey and not a destination. And if you look in our report, we cited about 51% said cultural resistance is one of the barriers to transformation. And we see that when we work with our customers. But in addition to culture, is you really have to make sure that the transformation is aligned to the strategy and the citizen outcomes you're trying to achieve. You need to make sure that the organization and the operating model is structured to deliver the value of the transformation. And then you have to think about the talent and the workforce. And then finally, last but not least, the technology. Is the technology in place to enable some of the promise of the transformation?
Now, the report details how a lack of a technically skilled staff factors into why digital transformation is maybe not happening as quickly as it should. How quickly do you think the staffing issue could be addressed?
Yeah, another great question. And we talk about, I had a colleague the other day talk about it, the great resignation. But the other thing we see is we've all lived in this kind of volatile, uncertain times with the pandemic, now hopefully getting behind us. But some of the positive outcomes of it is it's enabled this model of work anywhere. So collaboration and being able to hire and widen the aperture from where you get talent is now much larger than it was before. And we're seeing benefits from that. And as you introduce digital collaboration platforms and tools, it makes it even easier. The second thing I would say is citizen developers and this push to low code and no code platforms really opens up, the number of possibilities to build applications and workflows and, solve customers for problems outside of the CIO. The CIO can provide the guardrails and the safety measures, but now the mission and business can build some of their own digital assets. And then last but not least, I think it's, how do you bring teams together and upskill within the organizations? And this is around cross-functional teams, bringing creativity and innovation to teams. So it's not always going to be solved by hiring more computer scientists or more programmers. So I think it's a mixed bag of a bunch of different tactics that you need to put in place to address this shortage in talent.
Excellent. Now, another finding from the report is that federal employees say contractors share the blame for failing to quickly implement the solutions and services that they were hired for. Can you elaborate on that finding and what can be done to address it?
Yeah, I think, when it comes to hiring a contractor or a vendor to help support a transformation initiative, it's really important to pick a company or a vendor that aligns to the transformation that you're trying to accomplish. There's no single firm out there that can do everything, as good as possible. And so companies do specialize in areas, and I think it's important to pick the ones that match to what you're trying to accomplish. Internally at ICF, when I talk to our customers, I talk about ICF being, an innovation partner and an extension to our customers. And at ICF, we sit at this intersection of mission and domain and technology. So we start with bringing team members who understand the mission and domains that we operate in. So that's critical step number one. Two is digital practices, that the old ways of working need to change, where we need more lean principles, we need design thinking, understanding customer outcomes that we're trying to achieve. So practices have to be put in place. And then last but not least, it's partners and platforms. We invest in our technology partners so that we can bring value to our customers day one through accelerators, staff who are skilled in a particular technology. But we're also in this ecosystem of partners. So we have small business partners, we have technology partners. The days of doing it alone, I think, are gone. And now it's really of how do you orchestrate across a number of different vendors.
Absolutely. So we've discussed several of the key findings of the report. Can you kind of tie it all together and just address how can contractors and federal employees alike best use the report to inform their decisions and drive success?
Yeah, we've included a number of recommendations in the report, in our report on the survey. And one, I think, is it's taking a step back. I talked about making the T in transformation too big, and we talk about descaling before you scale. I think that's very important. Revisiting the North Star, or what the goal of the transformation is, and then making sure that the employees are bought in and understand what their role is in it. So that's step number one. Two is focus on things that your customers and citizens value. We can get caught up in a lot of work that we think is producing a value for a customer, but in some cases it may not be. So challenge and question assumptions around, is this work really delivering value to our customer base? Three, I think digital engagement and education is really important inside as you take on a transformation initiative. Inside ICF, we have a Digital Transformation 101 learning program that meets our internal stakeholders where they are, so that we can increase the digital literacy so that they can then talk to their customers about it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing some details about this report with us. Take care.
Thank you.